What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 Season of the Worthy video. In today's video, I'll be covering the 7th Seraph auto rifle and how well it performs. Now, on how to obtain this weapon, essentially you can get it from a few different things, which is basically just completing things in Season of the Unworthy. It could be the daily bunker, it could be the bounties, it could be the legendary lost sectors, it could be the 7th Seraph Tower event. There are multiple ways to get this weapon. Now, this weapon does fall into the precision frame archetype, which fits into a very popular auto rifle that we all know, the Uriel's Gift. Funny enough, since auto rifles are kind of the meta weapons for the season, it's funny because the precision frame did not receive any buff or nerf. I guess it's in a good spot, but obviously things like the Summoner and Suros and Hardlight are taking over. So first up, let's go over how effective this weapon would be in PvE. And I'm going to pull up the perk set here. And I will tell you this, there are a lot of good perk options here that would make this a viable weapon to use in PvP as a kinetic primary weapon. So first up, let's look over the barrels. To be honest, I don't think barrels are super crucial here. It's not like something for PvP where you want range. Maybe for this, maybe go with polygonal rifling to help with your vertical stability there, or maybe just go with a barrel that'll increase your stability and or handling. That would be something that I recommend. For your magazine, you have multiple options here, which is pretty cool. High caliber rounds, which is good, be able to have that flinch factor, increased range. Appended mag, you get increased magazine size without hurting your reload speed like with extended mag. Armor piercing rounds, range, and you penetrate multiple targets. Ricochet rounds, always just a solid option in general. Flared mag, well, not too bad. You do get that increase to reload, which can be helpful to keep up certain damage perks. Light mag's not too bad either. I'd probably skip out on alloy mag. I feel like it's not very effective anyway. If we look at trade call number 1, they're saying for PVE, 4 times the charm, which basically if you get 4 headshots, it returns 2 bullets, and auto-loading holster. And you know, I think those two are, I think auto-loading holster over 4 times the charm. I don't see a lot of people using that unless it's on a sniper or potentially even a linear fusion if it can come with that. I do enjoy threat detector. Threat detector is pretty good, especially if you're near multiple enemies. You get increased stability, handling, and reload speed. And they don't even have underdog highlighted, but underdog's not bad either, especially if you're rocking a build that doesn't have a lot of recovery in PvE. You're able to have that increased reload speed when you're weak. But I think probably my number 1 options would be auto-loading holster or threat detector. Trade call number 2 here. You do have you have a few options here. Obviously, Vorpal weapon, which, you know, I think it's a good perk, just not on this weapon specifically, because you do have the option of Swashbuckler and Rampage, which we all know having those extra damage perks can be good when clearing out a bunch of ads. The other perks don't really matter considering they're not really catered for PvE, so I'd highly recommend something like Swashbuckler or Rampage. Now, going over PvP, this is interesting because the role that I had Slide Shot in trait column number 1, and then Swashbuckler in trait column number 2, which is kind of interesting, but I'm going to kind of go over the perks because I don't believe I have like a complete god role, so to speak. But I think there's the potential to have a good PvP role on this weapon. So obviously, I think people end up defaulting to something like Hammerforge rifling, polygonal rifling, or even arrowhead break, something like that. Arrowhead break will be able to help with that. Vertical recoil, Hammerforge rifling, increased range, polygonal rifling, increased stability. Probably one of those 3 is a good option. If you don't get arrowhead break, you can always put on a counterbalance mod to help with that vertical recoil, make it a little better for you. Obviously, for the magazine, I think you're either going to, number 1 pick is ricochet rounds because increase the range and stability. Always good. Second option would be high caliber rounds, be able to have that flinch factor. And if you really had to choose a third one, I'd probably go with light mag to increase that range and reload speed. As long as you have that range on there, I feel like you're in a good spot. When it comes to trade column number 1, they're saying slide shot and threat detector. I'll go with slide shot because when you slide, you get a portion of the magazine returned. And you get an increase to range and stability, which will be able to help on this weapon. Considering it's an auto, like you're just going to be firing it nonstop, which, you know, it is what it is. If I were to, I don't know, this is kind of difficult. If I were to go with a second option, maybe auto-loading holster, because if you're going to whip out something like your energy weapon, this will be able to reload itself. So when you pull it back out, you have a full magazine, which would be nice. But I think slide shot's probably the number 1 option here. Trade call number 2. I feel like the number 1 option here is rangefinder, be able to increase that range. They did end up nerfing the precision auto rifle range. This was a few seasons back, so I'm not 100% sure when. So I think rangefinder is probably your best option here. It will zoom in your sights a little more when you aim down sight, but you know, I feel like that comes with the territory if you can hit people from farther away, you know. I would say maybe your second best option here would be the damage dealing perks like Swashbuckler and or Rampage. Being able to clean up a second kill and have more damage, have a faster time to kill is always good. Vorpal Weapon I think would be okay, but again, it's only going to apply to people who are going to be using their super, which is not very often during a match. So again, I think my top pick here is Rangefinder. They have Moving Target, and I have mixed feelings about Moving Target just because basically you just move faster while aiming down sight, and you get a little better target acquisition, I believe. So it doesn't really matter in my opinion, so that's why I'm saying Rangefinder first, and then maybe Swashbuckler Rampage for a second option for a god roll. Again, the other cool thing with this being a 7th Seraph weapon is that it can spawn the Warmind cells, which if you're using a Warmind cell build, can be extremely helpful. Going over my final thoughts, overall, do I think this is the best auto rifle in the current meta for both PvE and PvP? No. Obviously in PvP, Suros Regime, Hard Light, the Summoner, those ones obviously take the cake. Is there potential to have a pretty solid role here, and it can be effective in both PvE and PvP? Absolutely. Alright guys, looks like we're at the end of the video. Just wanted to cover 3 things with you. Number 1, about support. If you're looking for the #1 best way to support me, there's a link below that'll take you to a 4-minute video that I made a while ago. If you want to go watch that, that'd be awesome. If not, it's definitely not going to hurt my feelings. You can also subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, follow me on social media with the links below, and all that great jazz. Number 2, regarding social media, I have a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and a few others. If you would like to keep up to date on Destiny 2 related content, be sure to use those links below to find me on those platforms. And number 3, going over the clan, if you're looking to join my clan, we have some spots open on all platforms. We're looking for active players and community members in the Destiny community. And typically we like to play casual PvE and PvP a majority of the time. I'm definitely all about that solo grind, but I'm willing to definitely play with people in the community, like definitely willing to do that. If you're looking to join, there's a link to the clan page on the Bungie.net site below, and all you have to do is request to join and I'll approve it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you next time.